Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. Y'all see the thumbnail? Oh no, not again. Canelo needs just another soft touch to close out and steal the bag. By doing what? Doing what he do best. We're going to get into that and more. But first, y'all know the drill. Let's turn to. Welcome back. It's Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T or just call me plain old TT. Y'all saw the thumbnail, but y'all know what I do at the top of my hour. We do a water check, water check, water check. I know. People be like, why you always do that? Hey, I think it's important. You got to pick your issue in life and you got to ride it till the wheels fall off. We got a lot of people out there that's having problems with their health because of dehydration. That's one. That's probably minor on the whole grand scheme of things, but you got to pick your issue. And this is something that I think if we say it enough, we would change the mindsets of people. I know everybody who listens to me. I know damn well if you listen to me on a consistent basis, you probably say to yourself, man, let me drink some water. You be thinking about it during the day because water is a life sustainer. It's very important. It doesn't matter the season. You don't have to be hot and overheated and just play some kind of rigorous activity or something to have to need to drink water. You should be drinking it whether you sitting down chilling or not. So here at Boxing Fans Talk TV, we advocate that the average person, and I mean the average person, drinks at least 100 ounces of water. You actually can drink 128 ounces of water per day. That's a gallon. Every adult in here can do that, but I'll say from 16 up, that's what you should be aiming for. You should be aiming for a gallon, but to meet you halfway in the middle, go for 100 ounces of water. Now, we know that a lot of people do not drink a lot of water per day because water can sometimes be boring. But trust me, when you get on that bandwagon, it'll become second nature to you. You know what I'm saying? We know a lot of people don't drink a lot of water, so we say 2 times during the day, you should drink water. And from that stance, then you should just increase your intake of water. And that's first thing in the morning, before your toes hit the ground, before you get off into your morning routine. washing your face, brushing your teeth, whatever. Think of your body as an engine and the water is the lube. Drink you 8 ounces of water. Have it on a nightstand. Learn how to drink your water room temperature. I do prefer mine to be cold, and the colder, the better. You know what I'm saying? But you can do room temperature. I could do it either way. But that's why I invested in a mini fridge in my room. I'm not saying no name brand. It doesn't matter. As long as it works. You can get a little cube. Like it look like a little box fridge or whatever that can hold like 5 drinks or something. Hey, it don't matter. Have you one of those in your room, it's not going to break your pockets when it comes to your electric bill. I have a mini fridge that's about waist high, about 36 inches high and not that wide. And I can hold a lot of drinks in there. When I'm eating my grapes or when I'm eating anything else and I want to put it in the fridge, boom, I can put it in the fridge. So first thing in the morning, get up, drink your water. Like I say, your body's an engine. The water is moving things along efficiently and in a timely manner. It's helping things go along and then helping you get ready for the day. You'll find that as you get older, you'll wake up, your mind is woke, your eyes are woke, but that body ain't moving just yet. I remember when I was young, as soon as I opened my eyes, boom, I'm ready. I'm ready to get up and get going. Shit. Not now. I was like, let me lay here for a second. Give me a minute. A minute turns into 30. Yeah, but drink your water first thing in the morning. The second time is at night. Get out your shower, get out the tub, go throw your pajamas on. You know you're not going to sleep right away. That's when you drink your other bottle of water. And when I be saying a bottle of water, y'all, I be talking at least 8 ounces. To the people who can down 16.9 ounces of water in one sitting, shout outs to you. I can't even do that shit. What I tend to do is I get those type of bottles. It's going to be like a waste because I'll close it up and I probably would have drank half, set it down somewhere and be like, yeah, I'm going to come back and never do. My dogs drink bottled water. Don't nobody in this house drink tap water. Them days is over. And I grew up my whole childhood life drinking tap water. As soon as I came in the military, went overseas because it was better for us to drink bottled water because you're not acclimated to everybody else, every other country, how they treat their water. So they advise you to drink bottled water because you can get sick drinking other countries' water. So I got used to bottled water and I've never been back since. So we talking 94 to now. I never went back to drinking tap water or whatever. I just can't do it. I mean, you could get the Brita filters and all that. I've tried that. I could do that. As long as you filter that shit out, them shits out. So, but at night, before you go to sleep, before you go into your real deep phase of sleep, the 4 phases, you need to drink some water. Because a lot of reads going on at night. You revamping, recharging, rebooting, you recleaning, you recreating. You're recreating the thousands and thousands of cells, red blood cells. And you need water to help that along. That shit just don't do it on its own. You don't want your body going through all this changes and all this work. Hell, the inside of your body probably feel like it's thirsty. You need that water. So you drink the water. The American Heart Association says that they agree that drinking water before you go to bed for your real sleep, your deep sleep, is good for the heart. And I always tell you guys about the aspirin thing. That's something I don't do, but I know people who do it, and they have the best hearts out there. I don't know what the hell that is, but the shit worked. And even though they got on them Bayer aspirins some years ago, that Bayer aspirin, whatever they put in it, it's German made. That thing works. That thing, it makes sure it does wonders for your heart. I don't know why, but it do. And then another fun fact, the average person burns between 900 to 1,000 calories at night in their sleep. Not to mention how many calories you burn when you wake up, and you can get up and just sit on the couch, get up 3 times that day and, cook a meal or whatever. You burn approximately, everybody's different, approximately about 15 1545, something like that, 1,545 calories in that one sitting. But a lot of us take in way more calories than we should. They say the average calorie based diet is 2,000. I know that seems a lot, but they say if you eat like that, and then couple the fact that you burn 1,000 calories at night in your sleep and about 1,500 when you woke, and then the little exercise you do. That's why they tell you shouldn't exercise. You shouldn't have to exercise more than 4 times a week, 45 minutes each time. That's the person living the healthy way or whatever. None of us, or most of us, do not live the healthy way. But I'm just saying, even including myself. So at least we could do is drink the water that we supposed to. Be straight on that one. And you'll see how it changed your life, your elasticity of your skin, just all kinds of things. You're going to see the benefits. Even if you technically don't think you see it, it's there. So drink up your water. Do not allow yourself to get in the dehydrated state. That shit causes damage. You won't see it when you're young. So young people, I know, they be like, man, whatever. But everybody with some age on them, they know. They know that shit will cause damage. And it's just like when your mama used to tell you, don't read in the middle, don't read in the dark. Remember your mama used to tell you that? I know there's the other thing that you tell little girls, stop holding your pee. Whatever. Like when you gotta go to the bathroom, let it go. Because when we little, when women are young, we could cut that pee off, like shoot. And I always heard that men can't do it. I don't know why you can't, but we can. We can cut that thing right off and get up and save it for later. We can do that shit. But they tell you, I remember being young, they were like, don't do that and don't read in the dark because you're going to pay for it later. And that's a true statement or whatever. So drink up your water and at least do that part. At least do that part. But now we got that out the way. It's time for some little housekeeping. Please, 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 in my humblest voice ever, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, you don't need to subscribe again. You already locked in. But do hit the like and share button when you come into my house. Lean on that leasy when you step into my easy. Basically, hit the like button when you step into my square circle. If you have any questions, anything, you can leave a comment under the video on the replay. I'll get to those too. And you can also leave a comment in email at boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. That's boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. Don't hesitate to hit that Cash App. I'm not monetized as far as YouTube yet, but I do have a Cash App. It's on the screen always, Boxing Fans Talk TV. That's Boxing Fans Talk TV. That's my Cash App. I do thank you for the past, present, and future Cash Apps. It does go back into the show. And I want to let you guys know that I come on Monday through Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't give a care what the thumbnail say. I don't know why it says those different times, but that's my time that I come on. So I want to give a shout out to General Big Fish. What's poppin', King? He said, man, I can't wait for this one. Oh, yeah, I'm going to talk about the boy. The boy. I know he ain't your boy. That's why I say the boy. Our money is in the building. Was poppin', King? He said, Miss T, that mic drop last night was 1 of 1. All right. I know that's right. I couldn't take it, man. That was one of the most lit shows last night. I couldn't even go to sleep because normally if I'm tired or I'm trying to get my sleep, because I told you I'll be doing all this side jobs and stuff, trying to get ready for this wedding. I be laying down, I'm listening, and I'm thinking, y'all gonna lullaby me to sleep. I be listening. But damn, that show was too lit. I had to get out the bed. It was like, because there's some crazy shit right here. Stephen Brimley, shout outs to you. You tried to hold your own, but how the Q say it, Fish? You was taking too much punishment. Steven, I think you get too emotional. I think that's if you can turn off the emotional chip like Data from Star Trek, I think you can get some relevant points in, because Steven do be saying some relevant stuff, and a lot of stuff he say do come to fruition, just not at the moment. But there's no way that guy should have been able to check him, because the truth was on Steven's side. Steven just didn't know how to put it together, and that guy did. Al Money said, "I really been drinking water because of your channel, Miss T." I feel you, Al Money. I hope so. I hope, like I always say, if I just reach one. But a lot of people tell me that when they email me, they be like, "Yeah, I do too." But if don't nobody tell you on the regular, it's like a lost art. When I was growing up, you come tell your mama you thirsty, and then what you're really saying is, "Well, let me get some of that soda. Let me get some of that Kool-Aid." She ain't trying to hear it. Not my mama. She was like, "Drink some water." I ain't asked for no damn water. If you live in a neighborhood that got hoses on the side of the house, we could drink water out that. I mean, how many people used to, when we was little, we used to pull ourselves up on the counter because we was too short. We was little. So we used to jump like kind of like over the sink. Our feet wouldn't be on the ground. We lean over, turn the sink water on, and just drink some water sometimes out of the sink. Am I the only one that did that? We used to do that a lot. So if I come to my mom and say I'm thirsty, I'm talking about something else. I knew she knew what I meant. But her standard motherfucking answer was, "Drink some water." I was like, ain't this about it? Damn, mama, I want some Kool-Aid. But she knew if she let us at the Kool-Aid, her little 3 heathens that she had, me, my sister, and brother, we was going to crush it. Won't go be no Kool-Aid left. She could have just made it and put it in the fridge about an hour ago. Man, that should be done if you left it up to us. Within 10 minutes, she'd be making some more. And back then we had to watch all the food, like, because we wasn't rich, we were poor. And as most people do, we had come from humble beginnings, and ain't nothing wrong with that. And I don't say that in a negative way to anybody who's in those predicaments. But sometimes I feel like, damn, we gonna count every sugar granule, how you say the word, sugar grain. We gonna count everyone, because that's the problem with running through Kool-Aid and stuff like that. Those kind of drinks, because you make the Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid packages was what, 25 cents, 20 cents, maybe 15 cents back then. That ain't shit. But that 5-pound bag of sugar is. And you know how, if you grew up in the hood, how sweet that shit was. That was a meal in itself. I can't even drink Kool-Aid like that. As a matter of fact, I haven't drank Kool-Aid. Wow, let me see. And at least over 20 years, I know. Like Kool-Aid, like from them little packages, when you make it with the sugar, over 30. Since I was a child, like shit, over 30. But Kool-Aid itself, when I got older, when I got grown, and I would buy Kool-Aid, I would buy the kind you didn't have to add sugar. And I wouldn't. Matter of fact, all the stuff growing up, we added sugar to every goddamn thing. When I got grown, how many people used to eat them cans of spaghetti? SpaghettiOs. You know how nasty that shit is? Ugh. But when I was a kid, I used to lap that shit up. But anywho, let's get into the topic. So I said, oh no, not again. Not your boy. Canelo needs just another soft touch to close out and steal the bag by taking a fight with John Ryder. That's what he's doing. Remember, y'all, that Canelo had a 3-fight deal that he was supposed to make upwards to 160 mil. Do you think he earned that 160? I mean, do y'all really think this man earned 160? I mean, in my opinion, he hasn't. He started off good. He dared to dream, so everybody thought it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. right? It was all a dream. He took the fight with Bivol. I mean, it was big talk with Canelo. He was gonna do the cruiserweight thing. We knew that cruiserweight dude he wanted to fight was a soft touch. I would go so far as the only reason that dude became champion is so Canelo can come behind and take the belt off of him so he can be great. Ain't no fucking way Canelo is just bouncing in weight classes in a 50-pound weight class range. I mean, think about it. He started at 147, so he liked to make us think. But I believe when he was fighting in Mexico, he probably was at bigger weight classes because he always say that about 10 of his fights are not recorded on his boxing record. Like they missing for some reason. How do you lose fights that you've already had? Don't you catalog all the people that you fight? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm a fighter, every time I fight somebody, I'm going to make a book, a will book, and be like, I fought this person this year, this time. And I don't know. I don't know how you forget that. And the reason why I say I'll write it down or catalog it is because boxing, one of them sports, your noggin can take a lot of damage, and over the time, you could be forgetful. Something can happen with that. You never know. So I would be writing shit down. So how you lose 10 motherfucking fights? But that's what Canelo says. That's what he says. We know he was gifted a fight or two. Well, definitely a fight. Because I don't care what nobody say. Erislandy Lara beat him that fight. Not beat him bad, not washed him, but he won. Erislandy Lara won. And I'm not even an Erislandy Lara fan. But he won. They cheated homeboy. So, and then they tried to do some hanky-panky with Floyd. Because that fight won't even close. And you notice that I'm sure they wanted to have Canelo win over Bivol. But you would not have been able to explain it. Bivol dominated him the whole time. Whatever type of extracurricular cheating he does, allegedly, it didn't help him that night with Bivol. And that's probably, it's not that Canelo can't fight at that weight class, because he's a big enough person naturally to have came into the division. He could have came, that could have been the weight class he started with. Because he's always been a person that walk around close to 200 pounds. But they figured, oh no, start at 147. The true definition of a weight bully. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It ain't against the law. If you're able body that can get yourself down to 147 for the weigh-in, so be it. But it's the true definition of a weight bully. Because let Triple G tell it, before Canelo was a name, before we even really knew him over here, he was a sparring partner of Triple G's. And he was a big guy then. Bigger than Triple G. And Triple G, those are his memories. That's what he said. So I was like, okay. You daring to be great? You going up to 175? I know I'm going back and forth, but those of you who follow Canelo's career, y'all can keep up. But you daring to be great? You're gonna be going to 175. Then after that, it's rumored you're gonna go to the cruiserweight, and you just gonna have belts at all these different weight classes. How they do that? They won't doing it for nobody else. Everybody else. Now, it's one thing with the women because it's not a lot of women competing, but it's way too many men to be holding belts while somebody takes another dream. You got way too many responsibilities in your own weight class than to be jumping around from weight class to weight class to weight class. That's unheard of. But hey, I'm sure there's a person born every day that can do that. They born with the gifts that God gave them that would allow them to jump around in weight classes like that. But it's going to be far and in between. Ain't going to be too many people that could do that shit. And everybody was hoping that Canelo could be that guy. But he got a rude awakening when he went up there with Bivol. Bivol let him know, this is my house. Dominated him the whole fight. Took his little arm punches and all that shit. You better come with a better strategy. I mean, did it hurt? Bivol said, yeah, he could barely move it afterwards. But it didn't hurt enough for him to take his focus off of what was the task at hand, and that was beating Canelo ass. And that's exactly what he did. So then we arrived to now. Because he fought Bivol, then he went to Triple G. Why did they go back to Triple G? Nobody was really pressed for that. Nobody was asking for that, General Big Fish. I was with you. I was hoping that Triple G won that fight. And I ain't even a Triple G fan, but I was hoping, because I'm definitely not a big Canelo fan. I don't hate the man. I'm just not a fan. You know what I'm saying? But Canelo pulled it out. Can't say he didn't win that fight, honestly. Can't say he didn't. Why did they want Triple G? Because Triple G and Canelo's matchups are one of his most successful as far as the pay-per-view numbers. They can crack 1 million or have cracked 1 million when they met up before. So suffice to say, of course they're going to make that fight. Because then you're going to get some return on your investment. But what did he do? So 1 of the 3 fight deal, Bivol, that was a good match. 2 of the 3 fight deal, that was a good match for the investors of his 160 mil purse. But this third match that he's trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes, come on now. That's some straight BS. That's a front row seat to some BS. John Ryder? I said, why in the same hell is Canelo fighting John Ryder? And who asked for it? And I know that Canelo is ranked number 1 at 168 division, for sure. But overall, he is ranked number 4 after his loss to Bivol. And that's not every ranking system, but that's the consensus. He is ranked approximately like number 4 after his loss to Bivol. He was at number 1, and now Bivol, because of his win over Canelo, has entered the top 10 list, or he cracked the list of the rankings. BoxRec still has him as the top. And let me show y'all this, because I kept looking today for the rankings and all that, and I could barely find them. Right? Hold on. Is that it? Okay, this is it. Give me a sec, y'all. I'm going to put this up on the screen. Okay, this is it. Yeah. So if y'all can see this, I'll make sure y'all can see this. Let me see. Yeah, y'all can see this. If y'all can see this BoxRec ranking. First, I was like, am I seeing this right? And it says rating up there. So I'm assuming rating ranking. You see it said Box Pro, the males, active fighters, pound for pound. They talking about overall. They go down from 1 to 50. And I was like, this list got to be some bullshit. Not just because they have Canelo at the top, but I'm going to go slow. And y'all just quickly run through these names. You know, there's a person who is not on this list. That's why I know this list is some bullshit. There's some bourgeois bullshit. This cannot be right. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want me to go through it again, I just went from 1 to 50. Who name do y'all not see on this list. Look at 2 through 22. Just go through it right quick. Giving y'all a minute or two, a couple of seconds, I guess. Let's go from 21. That's where we left off. That was George Kambosos. From 21 to 38. Ending with Jerron Ennis. Who name y'all don't see? I know some of y'all gonna catch it. Go from 38 to 50. Who name don't you see? If y'all say Terrence Crawford, then y'all will be right. I don't know. Y'all probably can't see it because it looks small on here for whatever reason. So let me read it. I'm going to read it. Let me see. Okay. You guys, Canelo Alvarez, Tyson Fury, Dmitry Bivol, Gennady Golovkin, Alexander Usyk, AJ, Inoue, Spence, Stevenson, Berterbiev, Andy Ruiz, Jamel Charlo, Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor, Stephen Fulton, Deontay Wilder, Yordenis Ugas, go up, Joe Joyce, Devin Haney, number 19. Okay. John Ryder, number 20. I don't even know who this dude is. Do any of you guys know who he is? I'm not going to say he's not important because he's only ranked on the WBO. That's the only place he's ranked. He's not ranked on IBF, WBA, WBC. But he's ranked number 20 on here, the overall list. George Kambosos, 21. Tank Davis, 22. Chris Eubank, 23. Virgil Ortiz, 24. Sebastian Fundora, 25. Let me go to 26. You got Makabu, that guy that he was going to fight at the cruiserweight, number 26. Ray Vargas, number 27. O'Cooley, 28. Jacobs. Jai Apatai. He number 30. I don't know who that is. Dillian White, number 31. Teofimo, 32. Jose Carlos Ramirez, 33. Maurice Breedis, 34. Lomachenko, 35. Luis Ortiz, 36. Brandon Figueroa. After that beatdown, number 37. Jerron Ennis, number 38. Juan Francisco Estrada, 39. Mark Marcel, 40. Brian Carlos Castano, the one that Jamel became undisputed off of, 41. Emmanuel Navarrete, 42. Mauricio Lara, 43. Cody Crowley, 44. Nonito Donaire, 45. Roman Gonzalez, 46. Callum Smith, 47. Oscar Valdez, 48. Joe Smith Jr., 49. And Magomed Kurbanov, number 50. Who name did I not call? Who name did I not call? Sir Epo said, Happy Friday, Swabby. What's poppin', King? If y'all say I didn't call Terrence Crawford, then you will be right. Some of y'all might be happy about that, but that's how you know that list got to be bullshit. I would say BoxRec need to update something. It just can't be the truth. It can't be real. Terrence Crawford ain't even make top 50. He didn't make top 50. Y'all know I don't agree with that shit. And this is about Canelo, but that's my point. They still have him at the top. That's what I was looking at. But I'll go through the list. I don't even see Terrence Crawford. I'm like, this some bullshit right here. This some sneaky shit. Then I wanted to see John Ryder's BoxRec. He got 5 losses. Well, 5 KOs, I'm sorry. 32 wins. He's undefeated. So I guess he's and it says, wait a minute. It said 1 KO, 5 losses. I was reading that wrong. I apologize. 32 wins, 5 losses, 1 KO, or 18 KOs. I don't get how they writing this. That shit is confusing. Maybe y'all can help me out. Y'all see it right here, 32. I'm assuming it's the wins. 5 is the losses, I'm assuming. And 0 draws. But then right here got 18 KOs and 1 KO. Or he was knocked out one time. I guess. Whatever. Go from the bottom. He started his career September 10th, 2010. Look at the competition. Look who he beaten. Look how many losses the people he beaten. This person is new to boxing, of course. Okay. Look, this person got 17 losses. They got more losses than they got wins. And then, these people who had 2 or 3 fights. He's beating people with terrible records. Right? He like 16 fights in before he fights somebody we know, which is Billy Joe Saunders. And Billy Joe Saunders was undefeated, and he beat this guy. But didn't Canelo already fight Billy Joe? Am I mistaken here, or is that Caleb Plant? I can't remember. Then it's like 6 more fights, and we get to a Nick Blackwell. I don't even know who that is. But you start seeing a pattern. A person that John Ryder fights that don't have too many losses. That's who he lose against. Look, this Jack Armfield. He only got 2 losses, but he got 20 fights. He lost to him too. Look at this person, Rocky Fielding. I know that Canelo fought him. He only had 1 loss at the time. Probably Canelo lost. Patrick Nielsen, he won against him. So it was hit or miss. He lost to this person, Callum Smith. We know of him. But look at all the names. Who is these people? We don't know any of them. But John Ryder, that's who he is. That's who Canelo decided to give us as his next opponent in May. Originally, I don't want y'all to take y'all eyes off the ball. Originally, Canelo was supposed to have 3 fights this year. But he didn't. And that was the deal. So I thought, we're going to give you upwards of 160 mil. You're going to have 3 fights this year. If they were all soft touches, Canelo would have damn sure gave us 3 fights this year. Not that I'm pressed for any fights that he going to give us or whatever, because he ain't going to give us the fights that we want. But if he going up in weight and trying, like with the Bivol fight, I gave him credit for that. Even if he would have won before they even actually fought, I was like, yeah, I can give him credit for that. Because Bivol was not an easy opponent, and he was a champion. But that Macabu character, I don't know what, to me, I don't even know this guy. And from what they say, he really can't fight. I think they gave him a championship so somebody like Canelo can come, or Canelo, to be more specific, to come and fight him and take the belt. That was them spoon-feeding Canelo. I say Canelo is very strategic, or he's the biggest duck ever. What do y'all say to that? What do y'all say to that? Now, Eddie Hearn is saying that Canelo is expected to fight John Ryder in May. And I was like, why? Well, John Ryder did call out Canelo next after he fought the guy Parker. He just fought some guy named Parker, Zach Parker, stating he wants the big guns. So my thought was, is that easy? Is it that easy to call out Canelo? You go into a fight, you beat your mandatory. It was something with Zach Parker. I forgot, wasn't he mandatory or supposed to fight Andre? or something to that effect. But it was that easy to call out Canelo to say, "Hey, I want the big guns. I want him next." And Canelo was like, "Okay." Then we see Andre beg, Benavidez beg, Charlo beg. Canelo ain't had no answers for them. Who knew a simple call out after your fight would get you the golden ticket? That's how you know that nigga a duck. That's how you know. You don't want to call him a duck. You can say that's how you know he avoid the fights. You know, he doing a money tour. He going on a money campaign. John Ryder also beat Parker, like I said, beat Parker. And guess who his promoter is? Eddie Hearn. Of course Eddie gonna hook that shit up. That's in-house. That's a win-win for Eddie Hearn. All run me my money, pay me in nickels. That's what Eddie's saying. Now John Ryder won the interim WBO when he beat Parker. And no, there's no purse bid. No, there was no fights ordered. They don't even need to do that. Eddie Hearn gonna fix all that shit up right now. He just gonna fix it up. They don't even need to do a purse bid. They don't gotta wait for none of that shit. And of course, Canelo is gonna comply with it. Of course, he's gonna oblige him. That's a soft touch, probably, as far as Canelo is concerned. This is why, now I understand why Bivol has said September or whenever y'all ready. Because I was wondering why Bivol said September. Y'all fought this past summer or something, right? And then he fought Triple G in September, and we was expecting him to rematch Bivol by December. So how you go from December all the way to September? And so I didn't know at the time, and I reported on it. But now I understand why Bivol said September or whenever y'all ready. This guy, John Ryder, is not a Mando. He's not required. Canelo is not required to fight him. And anyway, when it comes to Canelo's Mandos, he don't make moves on that shit anyway. He do what he want to do. He does what he want to do. So you can't say, oh, John Ryder is a Mando or he's the interim champ. Since when did becoming an interim champ forces a champion to say, let me go ahead and get this fight with him? Nigga, we still waiting on the rematch with Bivol. I guess he got to have some wins under his belt so he gets sure of himself. Before he get back in there with Bivol, he got to start feeling good about himself. Canelo is another one that has an alcohol problem to me. I don't know how you're a boxer and you partaking in alcohol and shit. He might not be an alcoholic, but he drinks all the time. That's just, you might be 33, Canelo, or whatever age you are. You might as well add 5-6 years to that because you drink. That shit causes damage. And we just looked at the boxing rec. And I just showed y'all it had to be bullshit. Because even General Big Fish, you can admit the top 50 fighters and Bud name ain't on that bitch. Sir Ampo, you can admit to that shit. Bud name ain't on the top 50. Come on now. Y'all know that's some bullshit. Sir Ampo said challenging Bivol was grown man shit. Yeah, he thought it was sweet. If you think I'm soft, then squeeze me. And that's what Bivol did. If you think I'm soft, then squeeze me. Canelo tried, and Bivol put him in his place. Dan Tan, welcome to the building. He said, salute, Miss C. Salute to you too, King. Sir Ampo said, you cooking now. Got some bass? How low can you go? So, I mean, I have to say that box rec record, that got to be the most fugazi shit I've ever seen. And I ain't even mad. I'm just like, that one take the cake. You got a whole list of 50 people, and Bud Crawford is nowhere to be found on that list. I wasn't even looking for that. And then it just was obviously supplanted in my face when I'm looking at Canelo tripping out the fact that he's still at the top with a loss. And I was like, how the fuck he at the top? He should have dropped. But then, boom, look at what they doing. And then I say, you know what? Maybe that's a typo. Maybe, some happened or whatever. Maybe they gotta, fix the thing or whatever and all this stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing things. But then I say, okay, where is it at? This one. Let me see if that came up. Can y'all see that? No, I gotta stop the screen and present it again. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Okay, this is yeah. So I said maybe it's Miss T. Maybe I'm seeing things. But then I say, I read this right here, Boxing Pro, males, active males, pound for pound. So I do this drop down window. You see heavyweight, cruiser, light heavyweight, super middleweight, middle, super welter. Then I said, because I was thinking about the Terrence Crawford thing. I hit the welterweight, hit submit, and this is out of 50 people. Bud name ain't on this neither. Oh, trust me, I checked. His name ain't on this either. Unless it popped up in the last couple of minutes. His name is not on there. How can you make that kind of mistake? We can say it don't matter how you feel about Crawford. There's no way you can say that this man's name shouldn't be up on there. That's what I said, man. This list gots to be fugazi as hell. And we about to get a front row seat to some bull next year. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for John Ryder now. I'm happy for his sake. He getting an opportunity. They're far and in between, but I'm sad for the boxing fans. I say fight the Bivol rematch or Benavidez or Andre or others that you seem to have avoided. That's who I say he should fight. Now, I believe Jermell Charlo avoided him. At this point, that's the conclusion I'm coming to. Because, I'm looking at the big picture. His brother, Jermell, said it about Jamal avoiding Canelo a while ago. And I was like, they're just mad at each other. You know how brothers fight. But then when you start looking at everything and how inactive Jamal has been, and I've even said in recent times, Jamal don't seem like his heart is into it. And if his heart ain't into it, it's the best thing he can do is to take a break from boxing. But we saw a clip of him at the Regis Progress fight say, I'm back, or whatever. Still got that same nasty ass attitude. And so, but overall, I'm gonna call Charlo. I'm not gonna say Canelo ducked Charlo. I think Charlo didn't want to fight him. But Canelo, I know that PBC tried to get fights with him with Benavidez, with Jamal, and with Earl Spence. Y'all be talking about Terrence doing backhanded deals. What was that about? When the focus supposed to have been Terrence all along in the background, unbeknownst to the fans, unbeknownst to Terrence Crawford, they trying to cut a deal for Canelo to face Spence and was going to pay him $55 million. So if they was going to pay Canelo 55, you best believe they was going to come up with at least 15 to 20 million for Spence. At least. So I was like, what the fuck? So I want to ask y'all, Are we really mad at Canelo for doing the money tour or the money campaign? Do he deserve that privilege at this point in his career? And I had to really think about it. But I really want to know what y'all think about it. But to me, he will always have that asterisk beside his name and could never be one of the greats in my eyes because he cheated. And most importantly, he got caught. And the reason why I say it like that, y'all, is because you'll have some people to say, oh, did you like Roy Jones? He cheated too. Did you like this person? They cheated too. And you be like, damn, yeah, I like them. I did like them. But the reason why I say I stand on the cheating thing, I just do. Like every fiber in my body, and I mean every fiber, believes that Pacquiao cheated. I believe he's always been a cheater. I believe he's benefited from cheating and he knows it. When you know and you still carry out that shit and you still play it, you still go through with it, you still in cahoots, it makes you just as worse as if you planned it yourself. We heard recently about this guy who purposely said he cheated for Pacquiao. Pacquiao know he cheated. Where's people's integrity? But we have to say alleged because Pacquiao never got caught. So I can't put that jacket on him. Our money is kind of like what I was telling Q. We can't say, Bud, this is just an example. We can't say Bud is dirty and Bud is, maybe some of the problems with the can thing. And all you got to go on is that he had a conversation with the man. He might have ate dinner with the man. All of them was in bed with this nigga. Until the American government placed a shot across the bow and said, look, I'm going to let y'all know. If you got any dealings with him, sever all ties now. Meaning, I don't care if you got a contract with this nigga. I don't care what you got. He is public enemy number one. Sever all ties. Now, the American government could have just ran through everybody. Ran through boxing and tore boxing down to a minuscule. Could have broke boxing as a whole down to parade rest. The American government could have came in and changed up everything, fucked the whole sport up. Because that's how deep that man's hands was in the sport of boxing. Everywhere. Everywhere. But the American government showed mercy. A lot of people don't see that. Just by virtue of the fact, we know that Bob Arum was in bed with this guy for a time or two in the past. So that means everybody in Bob's stable inadvertently was in bed with this guy, including Terrence Crawford. But you can't hold people's feet to a fire on some shit like that. If Bob is the lead and that's who he fucking with and that's who he breaking bread with and that's who he getting money with, it ain't like it's the fault of his stable. His stable, all the fighters in his stable, they can't be held accountable for that shit. And I think the American government did boxing a solid by just shooting that shot across the bow. Look, several times. And Bob was one of the first person that did the moonwalk up off his ass. Like, shit, I don't know that motherfucker. Everybody backed off. It was 3 people who didn't. It was 3 people who stood 10 toes down. And that was Tyson Fury, Josh Taylor, and Mauricio Suleiman. I looked into this big time when this story broke last year and earlier this year. That's why I said what I said, Al, when I came on the show last night. Because I was like, we got to stop doing that. That ain't fair. Because if that's the case, I know y'all look at YouTube like me. I know y'all hear about Earl friends and the shit that they be into that make Earl like them. Can we say that Earl is everything we can say that they are? I would never do that because that would not be fair. Maybe he is, maybe he not. I don't know. And until we do know, I will never say that. So that's why I say we can't play around with that. That's how I feel about cheating. I'm not going to go looking for them to be cheating. I can see telltale signs. There's all kinds of telltale signs. I see that on a lot of people. I just don't say nothing. Because it ain't for me to go look. What you do in the dark is going to come to light. I mean, countless of fighters. I'd be like, this motherfucker on something. You can tell sometimes by outward appearances. But Miss T ain't gonna say nothing. Because then the next question they should ask is, how the fuck you know? And I can't just say, well, look, man, look at all that acne on your motherfucking back. And I ain't gonna say nothing else because the other telltale signs, because, then people gonna be like, oh, you talk about this person and that person. But you be like, look at all that. Look at all this. That shit don't add up. You shouldn't have these problems. But how do you know? That's not what you can use as conclusive evidence of knowing. So the best thing I could do is to not say nothing until we know. Until we can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt. And talking to somebody, eating a dinner with somebody, rubbing elbows and having a joke or two between each other with somebody is not fucking proof. So I won't call nobody a cheater unless I find out. I could have said that earlier this year about Conor Benn, because I reported that he was dropped from the rankings, him and Barrios. And I even did a show where we went in depth, not about a fighter, but about the WBC rules and about VADA and WADA and how they do tests and what this mean and what that mean. I showed you in writing, why they will drop you from the list. It ain't but a couple of reasons. You don't comply with the test or you failed the test. Those are the reasons. Ain't no wiggle room in that. So as I was putting out that Conor Benn and Mario Barrios was dropped from the WBC ranking, I left it right there. Never said anything. But what goes on in the dark comes to light. And what wound up happening? So many months later, what we find out? Yeah, they in fact were dirty. That's why. But they didn't say it back then. And since I'm not an investigative reporter or anything like that, I don't have no connects at VADA. I'm not checking nobody in fighting and boxing that hard. There's plenty of people smarter than me, better connected than me that can do that job. They don't need me doing that job. But you best believe when it come out, I'll let it be known. You best believe that. But that ain't my job. Like, oh, this is a segue, y'all. That's if you want to do it. I know I cannot be the only one that's that been looking at intensively Shanquilla Robinson's story, as well as Takeoff story and other stories on YouTube. And let me tell you, they done broke some big news in the last 2 days on both of them stories. So, I just was seeing just now that they made an arrest. I could be late to the story on that one. They made an arrest with about the Takeoff murder. So y'all go look at the blogs, the people who do that shit, and y'all go find out the interesting information. I'm gonna be looking at that shit all night. And then the Shanquilla story, that was an important one because I have a daughter. You guys, I talk to most men in here. Some of you guys are single parents, especially y'all got little daughters. That should hit you because I'm gonna tell you, your job is more than keeping your daughter off the pole. And I know that's a joke that a lot of guys like to say. My one and only job is keep my daughters off the pole. No, you got several jobs. Fathers are important. They're the ones who gonna break shit down and on a real level, and where little girls would listen to their fathers more than their mothers. But a lot of times fathers get caught up in, they don't want to look a certain way to their daughter. Like, my dad used to say, why you smiling at that dude? Dudes are bad, guys are bad for you. You don't need to be looking at them trying to get a boyfriend. I know guys are bad because I'm one. That ain't helped me, daddy. I'll just be laughing every time you say it. I'm still gonna talk to this nigga. I'm just gotta be more careful. That didn't help me. And my daddy meant well. He was a man of his generation, but that didn't help me. Now, if he'd have said, broke it down like real talk, like how he talked to his son, like he break things down to his son, do that with your daughters too. Because this is the thing, your daughters will never look at you no other way but as dad. They're not going to look at you as a player, a user of women, a batterer of women, especially when you've been a good dad. They're just going to look at you as dad. That's it. So if a lot of guys don't tell their daughter all the way the real because they worried about what they going to look like, trust me, your daughter going to see dad. That's all she going to see. Now, till you dare be daddies, I don't know what to tell you. You run the risk. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of public opinion. I don't know what to tell you. But do go check out those stories. They all over YouTube right now. And it's very interesting. I got a lot to say about that Shanquella thing. I'm going to say this much. The way I looked at it, I was like, what is it? Because, it's all important to find out the motive because, they made an arrest. One of the girls is arrested. She getting processed. That means she's getting a thorough medical jacket put together on her from here before she go there. And, they're going to find out everything she alerted to, any kind of pending problems she may have medically or whatever. They're gonna check her from the rooty to the tootie and create a medical jacket for her. They're gonna give her a chance to tell her story. They're gonna catalog all that because once they turn her over, ain't shit else they can do. She don't have time to get there and grow a brain and say, okay, I'm ready to talk. Nah, it don't work like that. You better spill your guts before you leave. That's the only way you can have some help in negotiating something. But once they turn her over, that's it. I suspect that she will spill her guts. Can the United States prosecute them? Yeah, they can. I'm sorry to get off on this subject, but it was on my mind. They can because there's a thing called conspiracy, and conspiracy carries with it a lot of time. And if you can prove conspiracy to commit murder, then boom. But if Shanquella had lived, God rest her soul, and came back, that conspiracy to commit murder would not have no teeth in it. But the fact that she died, and the fact that they crossed state lines, they crossed borders, so that commerce law gonna kick in. The other 5, you guys ain't off the hook. Y'all can go to jail. Even if Mexico don't want you, y'all can go to jail here. And trust and believe me, they prepping her and asking her every right kind of question. She gonna give it up, but she gonna be in for a rude awakening when she get over there and see you gonna see how good America really is when you have to go over there and face charges with them. Because everything you've ever learned and knew, you might as well throw that shit out the window. How they gonna prosecute that case? They is not gonna prosecute it like you do it over here. It ain't no long trial. They get to the point. It is what it is, and boom, they got minimum sentences for some of them crimes that she did. Like I think femicide is one of her charges, and that shit carried a minimum at the minimum, and that's her cooperating fully 20 fucking years. And I'm telling y'all, them jails overseas, if you don't have family that really do love you, it's hell on earth. Like I said, people don't realize how good they got it being an American citizen until they have to leave the country. They take it for granted. Well, all you got to do is ask anybody who spent time in jail outside the United States, and they'll tell you. But I guarantee you, when it all come out in the wash, it's something that Shanquilla, the one who died, God rest her soul, that she had over all of them, or it's something that they all have in common that is strong enough to make them keep tight lip or don't say nothing. What would make them all complicit in this thing? And that's, I always say, follow the money. Do y'all know that? And this was put out like kind of casually, and nobody picked it up or anything, that they all did a PPP loan. I know that's a stretch. I know it's a stretch. But the thing is, with them PPP loans or whatever they call it, the government is coming back for their money. And anybody caught having lied and beat the government out their money, you going to jail. So I know what a lot of people doing right now with that PPP thing. They getting their paperwork together. This beside that case. They getting their paperwork together because you're going to get audited. You got to explain that money. And, you know, if you lied to get it, saying you had a business, what's the chances of you actually going through every day for the last 3 years as if you really did have a business? So now you got to get people to vouch for you, to, you know, whatever. All of them got one. That's what I heard. That's the rumor. I can't say if it's true or not. I wasn't there when they signed the papers or didn't sign the papers. I'm just telling you what was put out. But I heard that they all got one. The only one that seemed to be legit was Shanquilla. And if all of them weren't legit in the beginning, she the only one that did something with it and made it legit. Because I don't know how long she been in business. All of them went to the same college. I started thinking about what's common about all of them. Because she did not hang with them other people. She only hung with one guy. Oh, shit about to hit the fan. But y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here first. It's going to come back to the money. They're going to either have wanted her to lie for them, vouch for them or some shit. Or maybe she was loose in the lips when they saw, because I told you, this is everybody who took that loan. They coming back auditing, sort of low-key auditing or asking questions about that. And you'd be surprised how they ask questions. They real good at this shit. They asking questions, and they could have went to her and said, so what you think about one of them motherfuckers? And like, so they said that they order stuff from you, that they work with you in your business. And she gonna be like, hell no, they ain't working with me. I don't know nothing about their ass. Nah, look, my business is my business. I do hair. I got a boutique. I got timeshares. Here got all my notes. Here got all my paperwork. I don't have anything to do with none of them. It's more than just jealousy and envy. Because when she hit her, she said, I'm sick of your shit. She already thought negatively about her. And when you jealous of somebody like that, or you envious of somebody, you attribute every negative thing in the world to them. And God forbid they ever give you some food, like the actual negative thing to attach to them. God forbid that person that you are jealous of actually do something where you can say, see, that's what I was telling you. The first time I saw it, I said, it's over a man, easy. But now I say, it's money. It's money. God rest her soul. But I ain't going to go into too depth, but I'll be watching that shit. And it's a lot of breaking news because what they put out, the guy has come out who been investigating and getting the scoop on it, who lives in Cabo. Yeah, he done broke it down to parade rest, man. Everything that they were saying, that girl actually died in the morning. I personally think that the first day they got there, they was whooping on and off, beating this girl ass, and you can attribute false imprisonment to this situation because they probably took her passport and her phone. And I'm gonna tell you guys, teach your sons to never engage in watching women go at it like that. Don't even engage in it. But I'm tell y'all men y'all have a lot of power just in your voice. You can tell a woman, stop this crazy shit, and she will pop tall. I'm telling you, all women, y'all have power in your voice, men. Teach your sons not to allow shit like that to go on in front of them. Just as much as you would teach your sons not to hit a woman. Because I'm telling you, and teach your daughters that, or you should just know, I don't know how you would teach them, but you should know that all girls, when they get around the puberty age, like 12, somewhere around there, that between 12 and 30, they're going to be at risk of being jumped, set up, or something. And sometimes it leads to death. Most times they live to tell it. A lot of times they have, lingering scars. It does affect them mentally forever. It kind of dictates what type of woman they're going to be. But this is a woman's problem. Just as sure as what you could say a young boy will go through that y'all know as being men, that y'all went through, and you're teaching your son, nah, son, don't be like this, be that way, a real man, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, as a woman, all young girls going to go through this. Now, either you're going to be a perpetrator of violence or you're going to be the victim, right? But I will tell you this. If you're a perpetrator of violence, jumping girls and, this, that, and the other, you will be a victim. Cause karma is a motherfucker. But if you was a victim first, you'll never be a perpetrator. I'm speaking from the woman's side. I can't say how little boys' mind mature and manifest as they get older. But if you got a daughter, you have to prepare her for that. She got to know when she is surrounded by snakes. And I'm talking about other women. Because they will jump you. I remember when my daughter called me one time, and she was in high school. She was, I think, 9th grade or something, maybe 10th, but 9th grade or something. And she called me and said, Mom, they're going to, she was worried because the girl was talking like she was going to bank her. And I'm telling you, I couldn't get to my car fast enough. I was going to beat the hell out of somebody, kid. I was ready to go to jail. I was like, bitch, you will not touch this one. I didn't care. I was going to beat her like a grown woman, and she could bring her fucking mama too, and I'm going to beat her ass too. And that's how I felt, y'all. That's how I felt all the way up to the school. I'm breaking the law, driving all fast, and I went to the front, and I calmed down because you can't come on school property acting the fool. You know what I'm saying? So I get there, and I said, yeah, I want to see my daughter, tell her bring her book bags. So she come out to the front, and I never seen this wary look in my daughter's face. And so, I had to think about it. I said, well, don't talk to her in a way that you take her true essence away, her beauty, her purity. She can't be you. She don't have your thoughts and this, that, and the other. But, do what you can. So what I decided to do, I knew we couldn't, she can't hide out. But I said, you can stay home the next day if you want to. And she did. But then I said, you got to go back to school. And I said, but look, let me show you some things. And I said, you can't be scared to get hit. Because when you fight, you're gonna get hit. But you got to make up in your mind, especially if you right and you're defending yourself, it's to the death. You got to think like that. Do I want my daughter to die? Do I want you to die? That's what I'm telling her. I said, no, but you got to have that mindset. Because I'm not going to be able to get to you every time. And I said, I'm going to show you how to hit and hit hard. And I just showed her how to properly stand, because it is all about your stance, how to ball your fists up so you don't break your fingers and knock the shit out somebody. And oddly enough, my daughter hit hard as a bitch. And she went back to school, and I guess the novelty didn't wore off. But the funny thing is, about a year and a half later, when she finally got her a job, and the same little girl, and I've kept that little girl before when they were younger. She worked at, she was so much bigger than my daughter. She worked at the same place my daughter worked at, and getting to know her at work, she wound up apologizing to my daughter. But this girl made her bones in high school always beating somebody's ass. But she said, I was wrong. Yeah, we was gonna get you, but I was wrong. And it was like mob like. All it took is one person and then everybody else followed. And I was like, oh hell no. Oh hell no. I was prepared because my daughter knows my codes to my accounts and shit back then anyway. And I was like, look, if I go to jail, tell my neighbor to come bail me out or call your grandma, tell her to come down here and bail me out. I was willing. I was ready. I was ready because I'd have beat the little girl ass right there. She'd have never wanted to hit my daughter again. That's how I felt. And I was ready for her mama. That little girl wasn't going to beat me. I'm going to show her what a grown woman was. That's how I felt. But I had to get control of my thoughts because I know how that feels. Little girls go through this. And this shit lasts until you about 30. Why I say 30, it's not an absolute. But at 30, it's not that behavior change or that mob-like mentality change. It's that you're probably a parent, you're probably married. We ain't got time for that shit. But people, little girls like to gang up on people and they corner you and they fight and they don't think that they can kill you, but they can. And then they be godly sorry, like, I didn't know it was going to go that far. Whenever you're in combat, anything, death is on the table. So I don't know why I felt like I needed to say that. Somebody needed to hear that tonight. If you got daughters, hip your daughters to the game. Don't worry about what you look like. If you was once a violator or perpetrator, your daughter gonna love you because you're daddy. That's it. But I put the link in the chat. You know, if y'all want to join in and all that, so y'all could join in. I know I went sideways on y'all, but oh Lord, I know I went sideways on y'all. But do go out and look at the vlogs. Y'all gonna get a lot of answers that y'all probably was looking for. Because I know I ain't the only one looking at that shit. Back to boxing. So Ricky Haddon, he wants Mayweather. He really wants that rematch. A lot of people can't lose and let it go. If you was a great fighter and you had a great resume and you did great in the sport, thank your lucky stars. You won in a million. Like a lot of people can't do what you do. Ricky Haddon. But you ain't getting no rematch with Mayweather. That's Mayweather that lost his marbles. I wouldn't. If I was Mayweather, I wouldn't. I would let him simmer in that shit. Sometimes not letting somebody get a do-over is worse than possibly getting beaten or letting him getting beat or letting him beat you. You know. We know that Ricky Haddon ain't above cheating allegedly. But I would let him simmer in that shit. I would let him stew in that. You ain't getting no rematch. You just take that shit and rotate on it. Ricky Haddon something else, huh? Yeah. See, and Floyd Mayweather, I'm sure recognize who his real haters are. And Floyd, you gotta have eyes on people like that. Like if Floyd went to a banquet and he had all his haters in the room, that's why he got them big ass bodyguards. You ain't running up on Floyd. Now, in other news, Eddie Hearn has put out that Conor Benn will be coming back soon, y'all. Sooner than we think. He believes that he won't be receiving a ban on competing in the sport at all. And Eddie predicts that somewhere around March or the summer that Conor will return to the ring. Maybe he won't get the big ticket item fight, but he gonna get a fight. How y'all feel about that? I don't like that shit. Dan Tan said, I wonder if he wants a rematch with Pacquiao. Floyd, after that fight, has said, I don't want to do business with them at all. Because Pacquiao always come up with excuses. He always come up with excuses. Pacquiao was throwing his hands real fast and shit. All that before the fight. Before they rung the bell. He was throwing his hands and shit when they rung the bell. I've had a torn rotator cuff. And oddly enough, I think it healed itself. All I can tell you is it don't hurt no more. But I had a torn rotator cuff. I got an MRI and everything. Or that little scan. I got one. And it said it was tore. But it don't hurt. I went online and I looked up what could you do. And, it's always something like a physical therapy, which equates to some type of workout. Not nothing arduous or hard. But that's what I did. I was doing some kind of strength training, but not arduous, or anything. And I did that for probably about a month or two. And I'm telling you, my arm don't hurt no more. I do know that there's a such thing as domes. And I do know that you could tear muscle fibers. And it'd be like little small microscopic tears in your muscle. And you do that when you do strength training. When you do something arduous, you tear your muscle fibers. And that's a good thing because that's how you build muscle. If y'all want to get, like I know a lot of y'all guys know that, but to the ladies who's listening, if y'all into getting cut up and having striations all over your body, you got to tear those muscle fibers and then let them heal. Now, DOMS is delayed onset muscle soreness. And when I tell you, baby, that shit hurts. Ooh. Oh my God. When I used to do strength training, I had it so bad one day. I couldn't sit still in my seat. I'm at school. I went to a Tupperware party. I couldn't sit still. Like I was going delirious. Talk about a cold ice bath. Like that shit didn't even work that good. I mean, I took one, but God damn that. I must have down like 2 or 3 800 milligram Motrins. That should have knocked me the fuck out, right? But that's how bad that shit hurts. It don't hurt when you tear it at all. And maybe the first day is a little sore. But by that, maybe late that second day or really that third day, that shit kick in. But you know that you did the exercise right when you go through that. Because it'll tear and it would take fat to rebuild it. So your body gonna evenly pull from the fat cells that you got to rebuild that muscle. That's why they say lifting weights cut fat. It does if you do it properly. But you have to do it to failure. And for a long time I couldn't understand what they meant by failure. Like if you're doing a set, you do your set. And them last two should be hard as fuck to do. It should be hard as hell to lift up, to curl up, to do whatever. It should be next to impossible. But that's failure. And that's when you rip or tear your muscle fibers. But it's going to hurt healing back up. I guess pulling fat from somewhere. And it don't just pull fat from one area. It evenly, just like fat is evenly dispersed amongst your body, it's evenly pulled from your body too. That's why strength training is a good thing. But yeah, him not talking about Conor being him not getting no punishment, that's kind of sad. We don't like to see that or hear that. Dan Ted said I was talking about if Haddon also wants to rematch with Pacquiao, considering how their fight went. He might. Hey, them two should have at it. Haddon, he can't let it go. Maybe we all could be like that, but I don't know. Maybe he wants one last one for the Gipper. I don't know. Maybe it's a money grab. Pacquiao likes to fight too. He might can't let it go. He didn't win the Senate, right? Or the presidency. He didn't win. So maybe he won't back in. That would be a good fight. But I don't think Floyd should get none of them. Nothing. I don't think Floyd should pay attention to none of them. Everybody who lost need to stay in the loss column. or the Lawson fam. Um, this was a funny thing that I read today. So Mike Tyson threatened Canelo Alvarez. Speaking of Canelo, General Big Fish, you should like this one. So y'all remember when some guy named Messi, who played, I guess they talking about soccer, the World Cup or whatever. The guy plays for Argentina. Argentina must have beaten a team out of Mexico. You know, soccer is big business outside of the United States, like big. And it's just as big or getting big like that in the States, but it's hella big. Like them talking about fans, talk about you could die at a soccer match. You can get trampled on. You talking about violence? They off the chain. These motherfuckers around the world when it comes to soccer. But that's some hellified athletes. You see how big that field is that they running up and down? But anyway, Canelo tried to threaten Messi over his flag, over what he thought was disrespect to the Mexican flag. And I thought it was a flag, but it was actually a shirt. And it was on the ground in front of him. And the dude was celebrating the win. He won't like stepping on the shirt and smushing it in the ground or anything like that. But he made a veiled threat of putting hands or laying hands on this dude. And Mike Tyson was like, no. Sir Ambo say loss of fame. Remember Mutombo? No. That's what Mike Tyson was like. He said, if you do it, it's going to be me and you pretty much. I'm paraphrasing. But Mike basically threatened Canelo like, touch him if you want to. Motherfucker, I'll bust your head to the white meat. Now I'm putting my stank on it. But Canelo got the sentiments. And there's a couple of people in his tweets was joking. It's like, oh man, you better cover up your ears. Mike won't play. But do I think Canelo is really scared of Mike? Maybe in the sense of the unknown. Mike is a hard character. Mike also know people. You know, Canelo don't want that smoke with no group of people that Mike know. But I think out of respect, Canelo, you know, because I mean, Canelo is young enough to be Mike Tyson's son. I mean, Canelo's in his early 30s. Mike is in his 50s. Mike will tire out before Canelo would, I'm sure, in a boxing match. I'm sure Canelo can outdo him in boxing. But if Mike really wanted to hurt you and he won't plan around, I'm sure he can hurt Canelo too. You know, can Canelo take one of his punches? That's all Mike got to do is hit him with what he do, that double side tap and uppercut. Because Canelo like to toe-to-toe with people. That would be playing into Mike's hand. And then Canelo is very machismo, right? He's a true Mexican to the hilt. Very machismo. So if Mike called him out and called him a pussy, called him a punk ass or whatever, Canelo gonna have to answer. Mike could be on his ass so bad that he diminish and besmirch Canelo's character. He can assassinate his character to the point where he'll knock Canelo off his porch. Mike could do that because Mike is a Hall of Famer and he's well respected. He could do that. And Canelo knows that. And Canelo know if Mike go, so do a lot of people. And he don't want that smoke. So what did Canelo do? He wound up going on an apology tour. He went on an apology campaign and apologized real quickly. You know, and very sincere like. But real talk, the guy who he thought was Canelo could have been in his feelings because his home country lost. But the guy who was celebrating shit, even from the pictures and the people standing around, They didn't think he was being disrespectful. Canelo probably was in his feelings, and he was so arrogant because, I told you, he real macho. He was like, motherfucker, wait till I see you. I'm going to put hands on your ass. And Mike was like, all right, yeah, do that. Do that. And watch I fuck your ass up. And Canelo came back and apologized. See, some people can get some act right, huh? Just some people can motivate that act right up out you. That's Thank you, Mike Tyson, for giving Canelo some act right. You can't be a sore loser all your life. You lose, shed a tear. I don't know. I don't know how much is proper time to devote to wallowing in pity. Maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes. And then get on with your life. Get on past that. If you put it all on the field, if you gave it your all, that's all is expected of you. That's all you can do. If it's for you, it will be there for you. But that's all I got today, y'all. It wasn't long. General Big Fish. I don't know. I don't know if you was looking for some of that content or whatever. But your boy Canelo, to me, looking real bad. But they gonna pay him 160. So when I say, this is another reason why I say people do what they want with the money. Like I said, this was a sticking point with me and Jerry for the longest time. They said people just don't waste millions. They don't do. I said, yes, the fuck they do. This was a waste. Paying Canelo $160 million is a motherfucking waste. And you're not going to convince me that they're getting all their money back. Because the John Ryder fight is not going to get him all his money back. All it's going to do is give Canelo a little confidence. But even Canelo can eat what he want, drink what he want. I don't give a fuck what he do. He'll never beat Bivol. He ain't going to beat Bivol. And he ain't going to do much better fighting Berteria. And even if Bivol dropped to 168, he ain't beating him there either. I don't think he beats Benavidez. And guess what? Caleb Plant is ranked number 1 in like 2 of them sanctioning bodies, and number 3, I think, and 1 and 4 or 5. He ranked high in these sanctioning bodies. So Canelo is number 1 at WBC and WBA. So he could get another crack at Canelo, although none of us press about seeing it. But he could. Al Money say, great show, Miss T. Thank you, thank you. Make sure y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe button, please. But yeah, I don't know who Canelo gonna fight next, but he should be fighting Bivol, and he should have did it in December. So every month after December is time wasting. Bivol shouldn't have to wait till September next year to get a fight. That's more than a year later. Because remember, he fought Triple G in September this year. So if Bivol got to wait till September next year, that's over a year. That don't make sense to nobody but Canelo. And like I said, he either is the best strategical motherfucker when it comes to ordering his fights and putting this shit together. We know he catch favor. And I always say people who got favor for the complexion of protection, it's not necessarily their fault. When it becomes their fault is when they know that that's how it is for them, and they exacerbate their opportunities in regards in that vein, So if you catch in favor for the complexion of the protection, and then you just using it at will, and you just rallying in it and shit, and relishing in it, and doing all this extra, knowing that, that's what's going to happen, or feeling entitled and all that, that's when it becomes your fault. But just how society look at you and they want to give you favor, that's not somebody's fault. What I do give Canelo is he's a proud Mexican. He don't want to be nothing else but. And sometimes I be thinking the dude probably rather look like the average Mexican. I maybe sometimes think that maybe to him it might be a burden, but maybe not. But he let a lot of shit get to his head and pump him up. Canelo was never that man. He was never the bee's knees. He was never the alpha and the omega. He was never that. But that's how they want to see him. And Canelo, that to that question that I asked, do he deserve or does he have the right to be on a money tour or campaign for money? You know, like just money grab. It's gonna sound crazy coming from me. Yes. What more can he do in the sport of boxing? He is on a decline. It's starting now. Not that you see it so much, but it's starting now. What else can he do? He learned his lesson for jumping up that high. He probably could still fight Makabu, but we all would see that that's some bullshit. If they want to pay him $50 million to go fight Makabu, that's what I mean by throwing away money. Who the fuck want to see that? Who want to see John Ryder? Sorry for coughing. I don't know what's gotten into me. John Ryder did not petition the WBL to fight Canelo, and he's ranked pretty high up there. I think he's number 1. But he didn't petition the WBL. The luck that he has is the fact that Eddie Hearn got Canelo for one more fight, and Eddie Hearn is the promoter of John Ryder, and that's how they're going to meet up in May, regardless of what the fans want. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you would think that Eddie would put him in a good fight, but Eddie giving Canelo the benefit of the doubt. He got beat by Bivol. He beat up Triple G. I'm sure they made a lot of money, more money with the Triple G fight than they did the Bivol fight. So Eddie probably feeling a little generous. All right, Canelo, you pick the one you want to fight. Because Canelo didn't pick these 2 fights. They kind of like picked it for him. He picked Bivol in the sense that he wanted to jump up that high. We didn't know which one he was going to do. The other guy, Joe, what was his name? Joe Smith. He was already like, motherfucker, I'm not fighting you. I ain't falling for the okie doke. You ain't even in my level. Stay in your place, boy. That's how Joe was feeling. The white boy. Bivol was like, run me that. And I don't think Canelo won't perturb you. So I guess we're gonna have to deal with whatever they give us or whatever, but whatever. But that's all I had today. Fathers, do talk to your daughters. Prepare them for that. That's coming. It's not if. It is going to happen. And sometimes young girls be smart enough to be like, this don't feel right. Because women, what we're given is an abundance of intuition. If we choose to listen to it, we can't. And this is why a lot of times it seems like men can play women easy, but it's not that. If you can speak about anything logically and rationally, women will adhere to it. That's a secret to getting at a woman. You speak to her logically and rationally, she'll be like, you know what? That do make sense. All right, you right. I'll do what you want. That's how women are. And it's a beautiful thing when used right, but it's not when you get used and abused. And a lot of people use that innate quality of women against them until they get smarter and say, just because I can do something, that don't mean I should do something. But I'm just telling you, to your fathers out there of daughters, prepare your daughter to recognize snakes in the grass. And I'm talking about women, not just the men, women. And don't worry about what you look like to your daughter, because you look like daddy. Doesn't matter what you did. Just like it wouldn't matter what your child do. You're going to love your child regardless. They could be a serial killer. They could be whatever. You're going to still love your kid. That's how kids look at their parents. It don't really matter, to a certain degree what you do or what you did in the past. All your kid know is daddy. That's it. So if you did that shit, you didn't do it to me. You did it to them girls behind me, them other girls that over there. You didn't do that to me. I'm your princess. You did it to them. So I don't feel about you like they feel about you. But now that you told me and you the proof of the pudding, Roger that, daddy, I'm listening. So when somebody show you that you insignificant or they don't care about you, you got to take their word for it. They will show you, and teach your daughters that they will show you. And if you feeling uneasy, teach your daughters to always go by their gut feeling, because we have intuition in abundance. Teach your daughters that don't go against it, because just dealing with life in general and dealing with relationships in general, men practice inadvertently, because I don't think y'all know y'all do this, but you practice inadvertently to get a woman to stop listening to her intuition. That's how you gain the things you gain. It's when she stopped listening to that. If women listen to their intuition all the time, y'all wouldn't get no ass. For real talk. Real talk. That's never going to happen because y'all very good at what y'all do. But when it comes to women, see, this should be easy. I'm not talking about girls to men, but I'm talking about girls to women. And teach your sons to never engage, ever. Even just standing there watching some shit like that, that's engaging. The one and only fight I got my ass tore out the frame is when these guys, it was like 4 or 5 guys and 15 girls. I was fighting this girl. I was winning. I was 11. She was 15. I was like a size 1. I was little as hell. That girl was cock diesel because she was already developing. I had just started. I was winning. I had been taking karate for like 2 or 3 years at that point. I was in shape. You hear me? And I was beating the hell out this girl, in my opinion, because she couldn't get me. And she was coming. She didn't know what to do. She couldn't get me off my square. She couldn't get me off my stand. I knew how to hit her hard, and I knew how to hit her so I don't hurt my hands. And she just couldn't do nothing with it. And then one of the guys decided to get on all fours and get behind me. So she acted like she was going to charge me. So I was going to hop back twice and just come full throttle, kick her ass in the chin. Oh, I know it was coming. And it was going to be a thing of the beauty, right? But he got on all four. And as I was hopping back, I fell over on him. And she jumped on me. And she just got the best of me. And when she was getting the best of me, all the other 14 girls jumped on. And when I tell you, I had knots in my neck, in the inside, in my ear, all the way down the canal, big ass knots. When I tell y'all, they beat the dog shit out of me. That's one and only time I got beat. And and as I always talk about the show, because see, I'm telling you this, I'm living to tell you. We got set up. I got set up. I was 11 years old. I wasn't even in puberty yet. 11 years old, I didn't even have a cycle yet. But I got set up. It was the same year Michael Jackson Beat It came out. Matter of fact, the world premiere came out that day of the video. Yeah, we got set up. They got us away from our house, me and my sister. I only went with them. I never hang with these bitches. I only went with them because my sister, she probably would have liked to run in that crowd, and she didn't want to go by herself. First, she was going by herself, but she asked me to come along. I never even hang with these girls. You know, I was a tomboy. I had my guy friends that I hung with. For some reason, I don't know where they were that day. So I said, okay, I'll hang with my sister today. And I went with her, and they lured us way up, far away from the house. But it was a shortcut you could take through the woods. Ain't no telling what could have happened to us. They lured us up there just to do that. So when I tell you, all of us can tell a story. You know what I'm saying? The good thing for me is I was 11. I thought these girls was huge. But I kept growing and they stopped. The size that they were that day they beat my ass, they never grew past that size. I kept growing. I had a good 3-4 inches of them by the time I was in high school. Good, and I weighed probably like when I graduated high school, I probably weighed like 130, 5'7", and I was a big girl considering everybody else my age. And I graduated when I was 17, but everybody my age was like 105 soaking wet. But I was 130, 5'7". When I did develop, I was a late bloomer. But when it came, it was like boom. I ain't had no TTs, none of that shit until it came. I was just about to go to high school. I don't know, they came out of nowhere. I ain't had shit. And then I was like, bam, I don't even remember being a B cup, C cup, none of that shit. I don't remember none of that shit. It was like, boom. I'm getting too personal, but yeah. And when I developed. But I kept growing and they didn't. And matter of fact, I didn't stop growing until I was 22 years old. I'm not a short person. I know people say, you sound short. Or when they see me, they be like, you look like you're short. No, I was 5'10". I got up to 5'10" at 22 years old. I came in the Navy 5'7" and maybe a little bit change in the Navy. My first 2 years, that's what I was. See, like, I just kept growing and growing. And by the time I got 22, they was like 5'10". I was like, what? When I went back home, them same girls, they was like 5'3". I never forgot it. It's still with me today. And I say to myself, I see them, I speak. We don't got no hatred or nothing. Some of them hang with my cousins or whatever. I don't even try to put them down or nothing like that. We know what time it is. But I know that they know from the look at my face, do it again. Do it again. And you'll be eating through a straw for the rest of your life. That's how I carried it. Without saying a word. You'll be eating through a straw for the rest of your life. Because they're going to have to pull me off of you. Because I ain't going to stop till you stop breathing. Like, that's just how I felt. Now, I'm not Barbara Badass, but I ain't never got over that shit for a long time. Today, yeah, I'm over it to a certain extent. But the concept of it all, that's why I felt the way I felt when my daughter called me when I told you I was ready to fight a kid. Because it don't leave you. And you can't avoid it. This a whole nother show to tell you the few females that don't ever get challenged like that and why they don't get challenged like that. That's a whole nother story that y'all don't probably care to hear. That should be something that when women get together, hey daddy, when women get together and they talk to young girls like in a mentoring kind of way, that's something for us to talk about. But just in general, teach your daughters how to find the snakes. You know to find them. You know why you know to find them? Because them the ones y'all fuck. And you know the traits of the ones y'all like to fuck. Them the ones you got to say, hey, a girl like this, that's a snake. Watch out for her. I'm not talking about the nice girl that y'all pull the wool over the eyes. I'm talking about them girls that snapping their fingers and shit and popping their gum. Talking about them bitches. Teach your daughters to watch out for them. And hopefully they can avoid it, And then, tell them teach them by telling them the real. But anywho, I just felt that was on my mind. So I hope y'all took that walk with me. And that's all I got. In the words of Pamela James. Peace.